You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, B&B fans. It is Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I have got your Bold and the Beautiful episode spoilers for Friday, September 15th, 2023. And of course, I also have a brief recap of Thursday's episode in case you missed it. There was more on Thursday of Ridge just being a total tool when it comes to his dad, a man who adopted him and has always treated him as his own. And how does Ridge pay him back? We're going to talk about all that and more. But if you haven't already, please reach down, click subscribe so you don't miss any of our B&B updates. Just real quick before we dig into Friday's stuff, I want to address our recent video that I did. I've actually done a couple about where is Krista Allen? Why has Taylor not been around? My most recent one was about 3 red flags concerning her absence and why I felt like they might have quietly released her. In a very rare occurrence, Bold and the Beautiful actually addressed the fan furor. They're probably scared of losing more viewers given the ongoing ratings drop. And so they spoke out and they said Krista is still on contract, and they assured us she has 3 episodes towards the end of the month and another, at least 1 in October. That's fine. But that being said, Krista's contract should be up for renewal on or about December 10th because her first air date was 12/10/2021. And soap contracts generally run in 1 to 2-year terms. It's extremely rare for it to be 3. It have to be like they're trying to lure a huge actor to come to the soaps to give that. And that wouldn't be the case with her. So she had either a 1-year contract and got a 1-year renewal, or she had a 2-year contract from the jump. That is what I feel strongly about given the nature of contracts on soaps. So I will believe that Krista is safe and still on contract at Bold when 2 things happen. First is when we see her in episodes deeper in December after what should be her contract renewal date. Because really what Bold came out and said was that she's still on contract. They're talking present tense right now. So she's obviously filmed a couple of 3 more episodes in August for those to have air dates in September. But that doesn't mean that they don't plan to not renew her contract in December, or that they haven't already even told her that they won't be extending it. You know, they didn't offer a lot of information, just that she's on contract now and hasn't been fired at the moment. So first, when I see her late in December, January after what should be her renewal date, then I'll start believing it. Second, when I see Bold actually writing Taylor a decent storyline of her own. Right now, they have done a disservice to both the character and the actress as far as I'm concerned. But I did want to address that, and I also updated the description on our video just to reveal what the network said. But they also didn't say a lot. They said just a little, and I think it's because of the trending hashtags on Twitter and all the fan outrage and just, they're trying to keep people tuning in, but I don't think this is the way to do it. So now real quick on to the Thursday recap for the 14th. The legendary Ridge Forrester, who started Forrester Creations, thus the name, wants to create one last line for the company he founded. Who exactly is Ridge to say that Eric can't do this? Also, just how awful is it that he's denying his dad basically his last wish as a designer? It's just terrible to me. But in the end, on Thursday, Ridge went over to the mansion and came to see Eric after his little spying mission with Brooke failed to get Donna or Brooke herself to, cajole him into retiring. Father and son bickered a bit. Ridge did more of his contradictory words versus action. And then the men agreed to just let the buyers decide on whose dresses they prefer. So it's another fashion challenge. And I think the last time we had a fashion challenge, wasn't it like Spectra versus Forrester, maybe in Italy, maybe in Monte Carlo? I think it was Italy several years back before Courtney Hope was left the show for basically, kind of the same reason, just unsatisfactory writing and lack of storylines. So I don't know about you guys, but in my time zone, also news broke in right after Hope untied her dress and let it fall, and the smoke show was just about to happen. And then I got a news update. CNN is for news updates, just as far as I'm concerned, so it annoys me when they break into our soaps. And then it picked back up just in the last few minutes where she was in the gown and he was putting his hands all over it, all over her. I almost passed out when he knelt down at her feet. So then I had to wait until I could see it later to catch up, and there was some interesting stuff. So I did wind up seeing the rest of Thursday, annoyed about the news interruption though. So Hope was definitely enjoying Thomas's hands on her, and she even confessed that she's been hot for him for a while, like when he was fitting gowns on her in the past. So they start making out. Clothes really start coming off on Friday though. Everyone keeps asking how Brooke walks in on them, which is an official spoiler for next week. I don't know. Maybe she has a key. Maybe she gets Charlie to unlock it. Maybe she uses her ice cold anger at the idea of Hope making her own choice about who she bangs to freeze the lock. All I know is that the spoiler is, and it is confirmed from the network, Brooke busts Hope and Thomas. So we'll have to see. Meanwhile, Luna freaked out when RJ Forrester tried to look her up on Instagram. So the mystery there deepens. And that was kind of about it on Thursday. It wasn't necessarily an action-packed episode, but it was steamy, and that made me happy. Heading into Friday, we've got Carter Walton in a serious scene with RJ and Brooke Logan. And the topic of conversation is, of course, Eric Forrester's legacy line and Ridge trying to shut it down and get his dad to retire while saying he's not trying to push him out the door. Actions versus words, people. I remain completely annoyed by the way that Ridge is talking to his dad. What Eric is asking is not a lot, and he doesn't need to ask it. That's his freaking company. So one last line to design before he retires and leaves it all to the next generation. And Ridge just can't let him have it. It's so irritating. So the other big action for Friday's episode is the big action between Hope and Thomas. She locked the door, then had dropped her dress, and then she put on the other one, and then, it's about to come back off. She yanked off his shirt. They're making out. The gown's coming off, and they are going to break in that I don't think they're going to break in the sofa, because I imagine it's not the first time that sofa has gotten slimy from somebody hooking up at work. Weren't Carter and Katie getting frisky in there like a couple of months ago? I seem to remember that, and it was in the design office. At any rate, it is a sex fest in the design office on Friday. So if you are not a Thope fan, you may want to gird your loins and have your finger on the fast forward button. As for me, I'll probably rewind and watch it twice. They are fire. When Hope kissed his fingers, I thought she was about to put his finger in her mouth. It was like we're watching a moment on HBO or something, but she contained herself just barely. All right, so things get strange on Monday, and I want to drop some details about that because what happens on Friday is the setup for Monday. But if you haven't already, please reach down and click subscribe so you don't miss any of our updates. Definitely click a like if you're enjoying these episode spoilers, and be sure and drop your comments on the action that happened on Thursday and what's coming on Friday. So the 2-week spoilers that we were given a week ago that covered the week of the 18th through the 22nd. I don't know if you guys also read the Soap magazine, but basically CBS, all the networks, they issue 1-week spoilers, which are by day. And so you have information for each day. And then you get just a few, usually like 3, maybe 4, for the following week that are early spoilers for that second week. So sometimes those are very clearly present on the roster of dated spoilers for the following week. Sometimes they don't show up at all. That doesn't mean they're not happening. It just means for whatever reason, it just fell off their radar, or they decided not to include it, whatever. So one of those 2-week spoilers was that Brooke bussed them together. But of interest is that it's not only Brooke who is in the design office early next week, but Douglas is too. I saw a spoiler photo that I can't show you because right now it's only available in the Soap magazine, but it's Hope sitting on the sofa in the design office. Yes, the sofa she was banging his daddy on, right beside Douglas. She's in a different outfit. It's kind of like a reddish black it's a different dress entirely, not the one that she pulled off and not the one she was trying on. So what I do wonder if maybe Brooke walks in on them, but it's a separate day entirely from this little bang session that they are having on Friday. And maybe she doesn't catch them in flagrante. Maybe she just catches them making out, and it's obvious that they are canoodling and that she isn't listening to her mom and is choosing her own love life for herself. Good for her. Because a lot of people were mentioning in the comments, Hope locked the door. She did. I saw it. I know. So maybe the nookie ends on Friday, and then it's a whole new work day on Monday, and they're just being cuddly or kissing. She's on his lap. I'm very curious how it plays out, because that's what the confirmed spoilers say. And there's definitely a disjoint between that and the action that we're seeing on Friday. So something's got to give in regards to the lock on the door. All right. That is all the spoilers I have for Friday and my recap for Thursday. And I just want to say again, while I am very happy that Bold came back and said, oh no, she's not fired, Krista's still on contract, I'm not necessarily confident that it's going to last past her current contract expiry date on or around December 10th of 2023. I would like to see them, if she is indeed staying, to write her a fresh romance. If they can bring on a contract bae for RJ, why not for Taylor? I mean, frankly, I don't even need a new guy. I'd be thrilled if she canoodled with Bill Spencer, or if Lee killed Sheila and then Taylor got to soothe the Deacon's grief. I'd be fine with that too. I just want her to have, if they're going to keep her around, which I hope they do, she needs a storyline, and it doesn't need to be about fighting over Ridge's mediocre junk. My opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks to everyone listening everywhere. We've got listeners now on 4 continents: North America, Europe, Asia, and Australia. If I missed a continent or a country, I do shout outs on countries sometimes too. Definitely drop in the comments and I will give you a shout out. Cheers to all of you. This has been Belinda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.